Hello there, I'm Blackbright, broadcasting out the UK. Welcome to my channel. First time you're passing through, you're welcome to hit the thumbs up, the thumbs down, subscribe, share, interact with my subscribers. I wanted to talk about this Jamaican guy whose wife had left him. She'd left him and gone to America for about a year. Now, put yourself in that guy's place. If your wife up and left you, and you were in Jamaica by yourself, I'm assuming there was no contact, and no doubt you'd find somebody else, I would think. You know, men are not very good at staying on their own, so you'd find somebody else to keep you company, and you're getting on with your life. And then a year later, your ex-wife knocks the door and tells you that she is visiting Jamaica and she has to quarantine in your house for 14 days. How would you feel about that? It's still your wife. That's the problem. You didn't get a divorce. You're not separated technically. You're separated in the sense that she left. And somebody said she left and found some new man or something. But whether or not that's true, we don't know. All we know is that a year later, she decides to come back to Jamaica unannounced, turn up at the man's yard. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he opened the door and was shocked at seeing her and she pushed her way in. But the fact of the matter is, after she got in, she said she's not leaving. He's telling her, you've just come from America, a high coronavirus rate. How do I know you haven't got it? I've got to go to work. This place isn't big enough for us to social distance. You have to leave. I can't afford to catch coronavirus from you. So she's saying, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. So he says, well, if you're not going anywhere, I'm leaving. So apparently he tries to leave. The woman start kicking him up and punch him up and all them kind of things, telling him he's not going anywhere, scratch up his face and everything. This man calls the police and says, look, I'm being abused by his wife. I'm being abused by my wife. The police are not taking it seriously. And that's a sad thing. When it's a man being abused, they don't take it seriously. It's almost like the police are saying, you need to man up. What does man up mean? You lick her down. If you lick her down and you're stronger than her, what is the result going to be? The police are then going to say you abused her, and then you're going to be seen on the wrong side of the law. That's what will happen, because you do get people saying, oh, you're going to make a woman talk to you like that. Oh, you're going to make a woman lick you. It's a ton pardon. And the thing is, if you do that, you are then in the wrong, even though she was initially in the wrong. So you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you do, and you're doomed if you don't. So this guy now is stuck with a woman in his house who won't leave. And I don't know if she's come there for a holiday, but you know, with these new regulations, when you visit Jamaica, you need to put down an address of where you're staying. And you can't just go anywhere anymore. So I don't know if she gave that address because that's the address she remembered, or the only address she remembered because she used to live there before she went to the States. So I don't know if that's the situation. But even then, at least tell the man. I don't know if this was when she arrived at the airport. Maybe when she arrived at the airport, she had to give the address but there again, I understood that you can't even leave the country unless you fill that online form that gives all that information. So technically, she should have filled up that information. She's got 2 weeks to contact her husband or her ex-husband or whatever it is, her estranged husband, and tell him, look, I'm coming over to Jamaica. I need to give your address, but I won't be staying. But it looks like she wanted to stay there. It looks like she wants to reconcile with her husband, and it looks like he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. Now, if she's gone off for a year, he doesn't know who she's been with, or, you know, what's been going on. So he is going to be skeptical. And maybe his lover's gone. Maybe he doesn't even want to anymore. So you do mean to say, because They're not, the divorce isn't started and it hasn't been finalized. He's stuck with her. A woman who seems to be abusive and disrespectful. And regardless of whether or not he's getting on with her, with his life, regardless or not whether or not she is still his wife, the fact that you've left for a year, you should give that man a little respect and say, look, I know I've left for a year. I know I haven't been in touch. I know that, the relationship wasn't going well, but I really need somewhere to stay. Is it possible for me to stay at our yard or our ex yard or whatever? But what some sources are saying, they're saying it was her yard. She got up and left her yard with her ex-husband, her husband in it. And so now she's coming back to claim her yard. I don't know what the truth is. All I know is this man, he thought he was getting on with his life. He thought he had the yard. He thinks that a woman gone about her business. He must have found somebody else. And he's looking, he's working. So, he seems to be able to look after himself okay. And boof, out of the blue, this woman comes and turns up at his house talking about she's got to spend 14 days quarantining there, which is the whole of her stay. God forbid if she decides not to go back. I mean, if he was smart though, he could have just not said anything. He could have said okay, but then there again, she could have been quarantining there, but she's not allowing him to leave, and I think that is the problem. Because he could have said, okay, fine, you can stay here, but I'm not staying here with you. I'm going to go somewhere else. But that's when it all kicked off. Apparently all the neighbours could hear the whole heap of noise. So when is an ex really an ex? When is it really over? Is it over when one person says it's over? Does it have to be agreed for two people to say it's over? I mean, when is it over? Because as far as that is concerned, the man wants it to be over. She decides it's not over. So he's stuck with her because they're married. And technically, he can't kick her out. And if it is her yard, he definitely can't kick her out, even though she went for a year. So that is a dodgy situation. To be honest, if I was that man, I mean, he must know her behaviour. He must know what she's like. If I was him, I'd make out like everything cool, everything crisp. And then, so I'm going up the road to buy some chicken and bits and peas for dinner. And we're going to my woman's yard or whatever. Just disappear. She's not gonna know where he is she? That's what I would have done. Instead of fighting her, because he must know her character. It's not somebody new. It's not a stranger. So he must know if she's cantankerous for whatever reason. He must know that. So he could have played it slick, but he didn't. And obviously she can't restrain herself. She gets herself all in a tizzy. And look what happened. So I don't know what the outcome of the story is, peeps. But apparently a lot of people are getting in on this story, and it does seem to be kicking off. What else did I want to say? Some people are space holders, soulmates. Some people, they meet somebody who appears to be their soulmate, but it's just for a period of time. Was that the case in this situation where, for a period of time, they really got on and then it just ended and she got on with her life? Usually it depends on how the relationship ended. For him not to want her back, it probably ended, it probably ended pretty poorly. And the fact that, she's gone off and just come back, for him to behave the way he is behaving, it couldn't have been good. She's probably chasing memories. I mean, if she did leave for him for someone else, it's obvious that she wasn't satisfied with the relationship. So what is she holding on to? Is she holding on to some of those memories that no longer exist? Sometimes we do that, you know. You break up with somebody and you only remember the good bits. You don't remember the bad bits. And the good bits make you want that person back. And you have to kind of remind yourself, no, remember A, B, C, D, and E. And that's what either she needs to do. I think she would need to do it because he doesn't want to know. Forgiveness doesn't mean renewed access. And that's another thing. You know, he's gone about his business. She's gone about her business. The fact that he may have forgiven her for leaving him doesn't mean that she is now allowed to come back into his space. Some people think that, you know. Some people think, okay, they say they're sorry. And they think if the person has forgiven them, that means they can start over. It doesn't mean they can start over. What it means is that person has forgiven you, which means she doesn't hold no grudge or she doesn't hold no animosity for you, but she's not going back there with you, or he's not going back there with her. So they do have that where, you know, you can have genuinely forgiven somebody and you can talk to them, but you don't want to get back into a relationship with them. There's also a difference between attachment and connection. You know, you can be attached to somebody, you can have an emotional attached to them, but there's no real connection. So is that what's going on here? She might be attached to him because, for whatever reason, like I said, I don't know if they were in contact while she was away in America, but you can be attached to people. You can have an emotional attachment. You can have a spiritual attachment. You can have sexual chemistry, but there's no real connection there. You're not really connected. They also have something called divine discontent. That is where you're really happy with your lot. You're satisfied with yourself. You're grateful for where you are. You're not prepared to lower the bar to make yourself happy. You reach a point where nice people are just not enough. You know, if somebody's nice to you or if somebody's respectful to you, it's fine. But, you know, that is a responsibility for everybody to be nice, to be respectful, to be appreciative, to be grateful. That is expected of each and every one of us. But some people think that, oh, you know, I've met somebody so nice or she's so nice. That means you need to have a relationship with them. No, because sometimes you deserve better. You're worth better. You're worth more. So not every, like my mum always used to say, is not every nice dog you bring in at a horse. You know what I mean? So, you know, you don't have to bring in everybody that's nice. You don't have to get involved with everybody that's nice. And that's what happens when people have had bad relationships and they meet somebody who's nice. They mistake that niceness, you know, for that person being the right person for them, as opposed to them thinking, well, yeah, that person is nice, but it's only nice compared to what I went through before. When how you're being treated by a nice person is actually what everybody deserves and what everybody should expect. So the basic responsibility in any relationship is respect, somebody who's responsible, somebody who gives you attention. And do not lower the bar, you know, for somebody who is less than. Don't sabotage your life by taking on people who are not going to make you happy. And so I don't know what's going to happen with this guy in Jamaica. Be very interesting to get a follow-up. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. Bye-bye.